My mom started a massive fight over one dirty dish, even though I had already washed it. I'm a 26-year-old woman visiting my mom out of state. Now, we aren't neat freaks, but the rule is simple: wash your own dish after dinner. I promised I would, but I got distracted and forgot. Whoops, just an honest mistake. When I woke up, I realized my mistake and washed it immediately. Problem solved, right? But wait until you hear how she reacted. Later that evening, my mom comes home and starts a huge argument. She saw the dish before she went to work and decided to make it the hill she dies on. We went back and forth, repeating the same points until I just walked away to keep the peace. It was already clean. Why are we fighting? And the worst part, she does the exact same thing. She leaves dishes in the sink constantly. I feel like I would have been yelled at regardless.
Not the a-hole. Your mom sounds seriously uptight, and she is going to regret it when her nonsense runs you off. I can't imagine making a guest feel this way.
Wait, what was there to argue about? If it was clean when she got home, surely you just apologize and move on.
So, is the mom being unreasonable, or should I have remembered? Let me know in the comments. You won't believe what happened on Reddit today. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my partner about chores? A 21-year-old woman and my boyfriend, 22-year-old man, have lived together for a year. I work from home and I'm naturally tidy, coming from hospo. He has a toxic job with a 3-hour daily commute and comes home drained. Because of this, I not the a-holerily took over most of the chores: cooking, laundry, cleaning, groceries, care and maintenance for our dog so he can rest. I don't mind this mostly, but I feel like a household manager. His only designated chores are taking out the trash and picking up dog poop. However, he does this poorly. 1. He will take the bag out of the kitchen bin but walk away without putting a new liner in. I have to remind him constantly. When he forgets, we end up throwing trash into a naked bin. 2. He only empties the main kitchen bin and forgets the trash cans in the bathroom, office, bedroom. 3. He forgets to take the bins to the curb about 70% of the time unless I remind him. Last week I decided to stop managing him. I didn't remind him it was bin day. He forgot, missed the truck, and the trash piled up. I cracked it at him because I was over having to deal with overflowing bin. I told him he had one job and he couldn't even do that right without me holding his hand. He got angry back, saying I should have just told him it was bin day so we didn't miss the truck, and that I'm being unreasonable mean because I know how exhausted he is from work. There have been several arguments similar to this. E.g., he's trying to find something in the house. He instantly asks me where it is rather than looking himself because it will save him X time looking for it. TLDR, I do 90% of the chores because my BF has a long commute. His only job is the trash. He constantly forgets to line the bin and ignores the bathroom bins. When he missed the trash pickup because I didn't remind him, I snapped at him. Am I the a-hole? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. You won't believe what happened on Reddit today. Am I the a-hole for not playing video games or watching any engaging shows while So is awake because I get annoyed when interrupted? I am 38M living with my So of 8 years and our daughter, 7, and we have her other 3 kids, 17/F, 16M, and 14M, about half the time. She works first shift and gets home around 4 p.m. and goes to bed about 9 p.m. We usually both help with dinner, and I do my best to keep the kids to a low roar so she can play a few hours of games at night. Sims, Animal Crossing, etc. I would also play a video game or watch YouTube videos most of the time as we have side-by-side TV setups in living room. I tend to get deeply focused on whatever it is I'm doing and get annoyed easily if I get interrupted. My So frequently will start talking to me about her day, or a book she is reading while I'm focused on something else, and notice I was annoyed by my facial expression and get upset. I didn't say anything or sigh, or any other outward sign that I was annoyed. Just my face unintentionally. This would cause a big argument that at times lasted days. After this happened a few times, I stopped playing or watching anything engaging while she was still awake to prevent the entire situation. If I'm not engaged in a task, I can't be interrupted and therefore won't be annoyed, right? This has been working well until tonight. I had put on an 8-minute video after we had spent about an hour talking and making dinner, and she interrupted, told me stories about her work for a while, then noticed my face looked annoyed, and I was slightly annoyed at her timing, but that's all. We started arguing, and I told her about how I haven't been doing engaging tasks while she's awake to prevent this exactly, and she is now upset to find out this information, but I don't know why. I feel like I made the most logical choice to prevent an argument, and it was working for the most part. Am I the whole? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. My friend demanded I drive him 100 miles, but refused to pay a single cent for gas. He asked if I could take him to his job because his car broke down, but here is the catch. He lives 40 miles away, one way. So that is nearly a 100-mile round trip for me to drive him there and come back home. I didn't mind doing the favor, but wait until you hear his excuse. I told him I'd do it, but I expected at least some gas money, and he looked me dead in the eye and said, "No, that is what friends are for." I was stunned. I told him, I guess we were raised different. Because if it was me, I would have offered to pay immediately. It is a lot of driving for someone to go out of their way.
Not the a-hole if I offered to drive. I'd pay if I asked for help. I'd pay. With the price of gas right now, 80+ miles is a serious chunk of change.
Not the a-hole. You are giving up 2 hours of your time and putting mileage on your car. That is the favor. Asking for gas money isn't just reasonable. It's expected.
So, is he a choosing beggar, or should I have driven him for free? Let me know in the comments. You won't believe what happened on Reddit today. Am I the a-hole for insisting on sharing a bed with my boyfriend? Some time ago, I went on a quick weekend trip to NYC with my partner and 2 of our closest friends. The 4 of us have all been friends for about 5 years. The cast is as follows. Myself, 27-year-old man. Kyle, my boyfriend, 28-year-old man. Liz, 26-year-old woman. Josh, 27-year-old man. Liz's boyfriend Aaron, 27-year-old man, not present on the trip, and not really part of our shared circle of close friends. At the time of the trip, Josh was single, and Liz was dating Aaron, who was unable to attend the trip. Liz was also struggling financially, while for the rest of us this trip wasn't particularly expensive. Kyle and I did not live together, and in fact lived just far enough apart that we were only seeing each other maybe once a month. During planning, we took a few measures to make the expense easier on Liz. The rest of us were proactive on this. We knew she was struggling and didn't want her to have to ask us to cut costs, nor did we want her to cancel, so our itinerary involved the cheapest bus tickets there and 1 hotel room with 2 beds to share. I know for some people it might be an immediate red flag that we had a mixed-gender room, but we've all known each other for years and have done this before without issue. On the way to NYC, Liz said that Aaron actually didn't want her to share a bed with Josh, and would prefer instead that she shared a bed with either Kyle or I, not because Aaron had any malice towards Josh, purely because Kyle and I are gay, and that made him feel better about either us sharing a bed with Liz. I was kind of upset by this, as Kyle and I don't get to see each other that often, so I didn't really want to be split from him. If this had been brought up earlier, I would have happily just paid for a separate room for Kyle and I. Kyle and I said we'd see if we could get a cot at the hotel for Liz so that she could sleep on her own. At the hotel, we were unable to procure a cot, and once we got in the room, Kyle and I put our suitcases on the same bed. Josh decided to sleep on the floor to accommodate Liz. I felt terrible about this part. Josh shouldn't have had to sleep on the floor while on vacation. We didn't argue about it at any point, but it seemed like Liz was bristling a bit in the hotel room. Josh was insisting that he was fine with the floor and telling us not to worry, but I feel like he got the short end of the stick. I'm torn. I felt it was unfair to spring on us last minute that the boundaries Liz and Aaron had set were going to interfere with Kyle and I's relationship. It feels unfair for Aaron to say that because he's uncomfortable with Liz sharing a bed with a straight man, Kyle and I must instead be the ones to share beds with others. This isn't actually a boundary issue for Kyle and I. We trust each other enough to share beds within this group when we have to. We just didn't want to be split up. So am I the a-hole? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.